Nintendo Switch 2 pre-orders are officially available in the United States. As of right now, it seems like most online retailers are sold out, while, GameStop has actually been pretty reliable in terms of pre-orders, so it seems like a majority of people have at least figured out pre-orders, and even according to the poll that I had, which, to be fair, it might be a little different depending on when I'm editing this, the results might have changed, but it looks like more people than not were able to get pre-orders in, which is positive, even though things seem to be a little bit hectic with the pre-orders. But we all kind of expected it. This isn't Nintendo's fault necessarily, in my personal opinion, that the pre-orders were so chaotic, because at the end of the day, it's up to the retailers to figure out how to get an actual pre-order process going. And this is an issue that they've had with, the Xbox and the PlayStation, so it's really not Nintendo's fault that the pre-orders were so crazy, but at the end of the day, it does show at least that there is still a lot of interest in the Nintendo Switch 2, and I'm personally very excited. I got my pre-order in through Target. The only thing that sucks is that I'm having it shipped to my house, and it seems that it might not actually get here on launch day, but I will still most likely be picking up a Switch 2 from the Nintendo New York store. I just pre-ordered this as a kind of safeguard, just in case the Nintendo store doesn't really have any kind of event and I just have to rely on getting it from an actual retailer. All of that to say, I am very excited for when the Nintendo Switch 2 launches, and I'm very excited to play all the games on day one. So today, I'm actually going to be talking about what I'm personally going to be getting for the Nintendo Switch 2 on day one, and what I recommend for you guys to get on day one. So if you enjoyed this video, definitely make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, all that stuff down below. And of course, hit that notification bell so you can be notified of when I upload videos. And of course, consider becoming a ZakPak member. There's a lot of cool benefits that you get, like emotes, early access to my podcast, all that kind of stuff. If you want to join, definitely click in the description down below for that as well. So, without any further ado, let's get started. Firstly, whenever we're talking about pre-ordering a new system, we obviously have to talk about the system. Now, I personally ordered the Mario Kart World bundle system, that came with the system, even though, yes, that does mean I'm getting Mario Kart World digitally instead of physically, and as you guys know, I am more of a physical person. For me, there were a lot of benefits to getting this bundle that I feel like just kind of made it worth it to go for it. Firstly, when you're actually bundling Mario Kart World in with the system, it actually costs $50, which is $30 less than the actual retail copy of the game that you'd get from store shelves or from the eShop, whatever, and to me, that just makes it worth it. I mean, you're nearly saving 50% on the game at that rate, and honestly, it just makes the most financial sense for where I'm at the moment. Not to mention, I do think, with the Nintendo Switch, 2 especially, but, the first one as well, obviously, being a handheld home console hybrid, with a problem I've been having with the Switch 1 is because I have so many games, especially a lot of games that I like, it's really hard to, always have to pick out games, what I want to take on trips with me, so I am personally thinking this generation of leaning more into the digital side of things. I'm definitely going to be making some more digital purchases, which is kind of shocking, I know, for, like I said, someone like me who's into the physical media, but I feel like it's just at the point now where it's like there's so many games, from not only the Switch 1, but now the Switch 2 coming up, where it's like, I feel like I don't want to have to worry about carrying as many cartridges, having to worry about having too many games on the shelf. I personally just want to be able to easily play my Nintendo Switch 2 games on the console and not really have to worry too much about actually, having a physical cartridge. There are some games, like my favorites, that I'll definitely be getting the physical copies of because they'll be my favorite franchises, like Mario Party. I'll always get the physical copies of, though we'll talk about Jamboree in a second. And of course, Luigi's Mansion, whenever that gets a new entry, and there will be certain games where I do get the physical versions of. But I feel like something like Mario Kart, I don't mind having this one digitally, personally. So, Mario Kart World is really the only Nintendo game that's coming out day one. Now, there are patches and upgrades for The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild and The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, and honestly, I'm probably not going to be getting either of these because I like Breath of the Wild, but, I don't really see myself coming back to it anytime soon, and yes, it would be cool to see it in 4K, to see it run really well and really smoothly, but at this point, I'm not that interested in it personally. What I am interested in is the GameCube Nintendo Switch Online. I'll be downloading that app immediately, and given that I'm going to the Nintendo New York store, I will hopefully, I'm assuming they'll probably have the GameCube controller in the store. I don't know, they haven't really said much about the NSO GameCube controller besides the fact that you'll be able to buy it on day one, at least online, but they didn't say anything about if it'll be available in their actual physical stores. I'm hoping and kind of presuming it'll be available in their physical stores. It'd be kind of weird if they didn't stock up on those. But if it's not available in store day one, then it is going to probably be one of my first purchases because I love the GameCube. You know, the GameCube NSO is probably going to be something I devote a decent amount of time to. So having an actual proper GameCube controller for that mode would actually be pretty dang cool. And, I actually do have a couple third-party GameCube controllers for the Switch, which I actually did a whole video about. But it would be cool to have something officially licensed by Nintendo and not rely on any cords or any adapters. So for me, it's kind of a no-brainer that I want to get this controller. Now, speaking of controllers, Pro Controller, yes, I do intend on getting a Nintendo Switch 2 Pro Controller at some point. But for me, it is not an urgent day one purchase, just simply because of the fact that the Switch 1 Pro Controller is compatible with the Switch 2. So at least for now, while, I'm spending a lot of money on the console and some of the games at launch, I think the Pro Controller is something I will hold off on. And obviously, given that the console itself comes with Joy-Cons, I'm not going to be getting any extra Joy-Cons. Mostly because of the fact that obviously the Pro Controllers and all that still work, I don't feel the need to get any extra controllers. Something I haven't pre-ordered yet, but actually might be something I get day one, is that Nintendo Switch 2 camera. With games like Super Mario Party Jamboree, plus Jamboree TV, I do think it'd be a cool little thing to get with the game, just as a way, to, collaborate with other content creators and do something fun with it. And of course, Mario Kart World actually has support for the camera as well, but that is another thing that I do think I'm actually going to wait, and I think I'm actually going to get it when I get Super Mario Jamboree's, Super Mario Party Jamboree's, expansion. And let me talk about that for a second, because yes, it isn't a launch title, but I do think I'm going to immediately get the Super Mario Party Jamboree expansion. I don't think, at least for now, I don't think I'm going to actually go out and get the physical version of the game, just mostly because I don't really see the point in it, because I already have Jamboree. I'll probably just get the upgrade. But given that, all the upgrades and all the features are actually on the cart itself for the new Jamboree game, it is something that I might get down the line if I really feel inclined to. Or it might be one of those things as well where I might just sell my Super Mario Party Jamboree cartridge and just get Super Mario Party Jamboree digitally. I don't know, it's something I have to think about. Now, what about third-party stuff? Third parties are actually coming pretty strong with the Nintendo Switch 2, and there's two third-party games that I think I'm going to go for immediately. The first of which being Cyberpunk 2077. It's a game I've always wanted to play, and it actually looks pretty dang good on the Nintendo Switch. It's only about 50 gigabytes, so it's not going to hog up the whole entire system, but I do think it'd be a fun third-party game to get on launch with the Nintendo Switch 2. And also, I'm probably going to get Hogwarts Legacy. I really enjoyed Hogwarts Legacy on the Xbox, so having it on the Nintendo Switch 2 would be really, really good. I did get it on the Nintendo Switch 1 as well, but I'm assuming that there isn't going to be an upgrade for it. Like, there's not going to be a way for you to get a discount on an upgrade because they haven't mentioned it. I feel like if it was a thing they were going to do, it would be something they publicize pretty heavily. If you got the Switch 1 version, you can upgrade to the Switch 2 version for a discounted charge. But it is what it is. I really like Hogwarts Legacy, and seeing how well it's performing on the Nintendo Switch 2, it is one that I do really want to pick up. Another one I'm actually kind of looking at is the sequel to Fast RMX. I think it's called Fast Fusion. It's like a $12 to $15 game, where I actually did get Fast RMX on the Nintendo Switch when the Switch 1 launched, and it's a really good visual showcase of what the console can do, and it's just a fun racer in general, kind of F-Zero style, very fast paced, messes with gravity a lot, and it's a really, really solid racer. I'm definitely considering picking up Fast Fusion. It's not like my highest anticipated title, but it is something that I'm definitely looking at. So that's all of the day one purchase stuff for me. Those are the things that I look at and I'm like, I think those are the things I'm going to go for at launch. You know, there's other stuff that I'm, you know, kind of looking at too, but given budgets, given how much money I actually have to spend, I think that's kind of my limit at the moment. But what do you guys think? What are you going to be getting day one for the Nintendo Switch 2? I'm personally very excited for this console, and yes, there's been a lot of controversies, a lot of uncertainty around the console's release because of the pricing controversies and, you know, uncertainty about pre-order numbers, but I think it's safe to say that things are looking kind of decent now. You know, things are definitely getting a little more on the positive side. You know, people are actually pre-ordering it, you know, things are getting sold out, which means it isn't failing by any means. It's exceeding even Nintendo's expectations. So, honestly, I think Switch 2 has nothing to worry about in terms of people actually getting the console. Nintendo will just need to do a really good job of reeling these skeptical customers in because, like I said with the poll, the fact that there are 50% of people who are subscribed to this channel, who watch this channel, and aren't pre-ordering it right away, aren't even worrying about it, aren't convinced yet, and given that most of my audience do love Nintendo, that's still a pretty scary statistic, and I feel like Nintendo definitely wants to improve upon that. So what would Nintendo have to do for you guys for you to actually pre-order their system? I mean, at this point, you know, you can't count on them decreasing the prices of anything. I mean, for me, the console price is fair. I think the console price is fair. Even the bundle with Mario Kart World, I think, is fair. It's the game pricing that I feel like a lot of people have an issue with, but I want to hear from you guys about that. So, thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I really hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, and subscribe. All that stuff down below. Hit that notification bell so you can be notified of when I upload videos. And, of course, consider becoming a ZakPak member and check out the merch store. There's a lot of cool stuff up on there for you guys to check out. And, you know, there's additional ways to support me and my channel as we go through the Switch 2's launch. So, thank you guys so much for watching this video. And until next time, I'll see you all in the next video.